Hello all. Today we continue our discussion of Discogs.com. So we will talk about the marketplace part, selling and buying uh, items. Let's take a look at any release that we have, and we can see that there is a sell a copy button. So I do have a seller's account on Discogs.com, so it's easier for me to demonstrate that. So we have a release, and there is a form that lets you list a copy of this. So we have media condition. We already talked about that. Sleeve condition, comments, item location, somewhere in your warehouse, private comments, and the quantity, the number of copies that you have for sale. There is also pricing and shipping, price, allow offers, item weight, and we can click list items for sale. We won't be doing that. Instead, we will look at my inventory. So when you model the database for marketplaces or things like that, you have to carefully separate two sides of the story, the selling part and the buying part. And in this video, we will talk about selling part, that is offering items for sale. So I am selling this CD. Does it mean that there is a link between a user and the release? As with the collection that we discussed in the previous video, it's a bit more complicated than that, because you can sell different items that are the same release, but in different conditions for a different price. And that's exactly the situation that we see here. So there is a Baby Fox CD that I have two copies of, and one of them is in very good condition, and another is in near mint condition. So they have different prices. That means that we have to invent another name for an anchor, because one release can be sold several times. I don't know how to say that. So let's call it item. There are many links between the items and other anchors that we already know. So first is item and release. So wait, release and item. A release can be sold as an item. An item responds to a release as several items, and an item corresponds to only one release. Here, the verb sell is ambiguous in natural language, because when I'm selling something, it doesn't mean that somebody is buying that. And this turns out that it's important for the database design with this distinction. And that's why I am sort of suspicious about using this verb in those sentences. I am tempted to change it to can be offered for sale as several items. And yeah, the other way around, it works fine. Who is selling this item? A user. A user can offer several items for sale. An item can be offered by only one user. Nice. What we have here? We have condition, a media condition, and a sleeve condition. We have an anchor called condition, and we have condition item. A condition refers to several items. An item can have only one condition, right? Right. Same with sleeve condition. A condition refers to several items. Well, an item can have only one sleeve condition. We can change it like this, probably. Now we have public comments, private comments, location, and quantity. So let's add a couple of attributes. What is the public comment of this item? It's a text. You can write something like very good coffee. What is the private comment of this item? Text. Make sure to check if disk is present. I don't know. Location. Well, it's nothing interesting here. What is the like? Where is the item located? Text. Top shelf. Nice. Quantity. How many copies of this item do you have for sale? So we will have an interesting discussion later when we will talk about buying items. Because if you think about how the business works, you have like 3 CDs, the same copies of the same release. And lots of things can happen to those CDs as they lie on the shelf and wait for until somebody buys them, right? They can be misplaced, lost, stolen, and so on. And also, what happens when somebody uh, when somebody buys this item, and then it's just a happy path when somebody buys the item, it gets packed, sent, everything goes well. Because it's also possible that the parcel gets returned, or the item is sold, but then you find out that you cannot find the item physically on your in your warehouse. And these are all interesting questions, but for now we will only talk about how many copies we think we have at the moment. We believe we have at the moment. So, how many copies of item are in the inventory? Number, for example, 2. Right. So price. What is the sale price of that item? And here we use a special logical type of our attribute, because this is money is such an important case that we use a separate sort of logical attribute. How it's going to be encoded in the database physically, it's a separate question that we will discuss later when we will talk about the physical database. So for example, 334. But what is the currency here? You see that I cannot, I have only like it's euro, but obviously that in USA it's gonna be dollar. So if I remember correctly, that's the question that I had to enter when I registered my seller's account. Like, what is your currency of choice, basically? And it's used for all my stuff. So where do we document that? This is certainly an important information, because 3.34 doesn't make sense without understanding what what the currency is. And we have to add a comment here just for people in the seller's account currency. And what is the seller's account currency? It's a link between a user and a currency. A user can sell items using only one currency. A currency can be used by several users. So we probably need to change it the other way around so that it's going to be 1 to n. And we also fix it like this here. Oh, I forgot about the condition and the item. So it's going to be 1 to n, one condition many items, one condition many items, one currency, many users, right? Right. There are some other a little bit of stuff like allow authors. Oh, allow authors. It's actually a pretty interesting item. Are the authors allowed for this item? It's gonna be a yes/no attribute, Boolean in other words, but we intentionally use this term yes/no. Yes. Cool. What else can we see? We can see that you can unlist item and you can also delete listing. So item. So how do we want this attribute to sound? Is this item listed? The other option is this item unlisted? So basically, we want to have a sort of a more common value. More common value is that it's listed, of course, and we often want to, for yes/no attributes, we want to have less common value as a yes. So we would prefer to have is this item unlisted. But here we're in a difficult situation because there are too many negations basically. So let's write it in the easiest way for people to understand. Is this item listed? Yes/no. And an example is, of course, yes. Because for the offers, if I understand correctly, it's the other way around. By default, the offers are not allowed, and so it's good that to have yes as the less common answer to that question. What else do we have here? I think that actually we are more or less done here. There are, so if you just look at this page, there are more sort of pieces of information like median price. What is median price? If I understand correctly, it's they take all the offers that people have, all the items that people have on sale. They calculate the median price, and that's what they show. So we cannot set this value. We can only influence that by our own, and that's why it's not an attribute, because anything that attribute is something that can be changed directly for this anchor. And this is going to be a secondary data, and we'll discuss that later when we will talk about secondary data. Also, there is a recent sales history, last sold on in 2019, average, median, high, low. So what we see here is order dates, conditions, if condition, price in new currency, and price. Okay. This information is, of course, taken from the orders, taken from the buying side of this equation, and we will talk about that later. I think that we're mostly done with the sales part. That was pretty quick. Don't we have anything else? No, we don't. There is also my seller rating. There are 21 feedbacks, but that's also gonna be when we will talk about buying. Nice. All right. So I think that we're done here. There are some things also, you can see that there are more things about sellers, like a payment method and the ships from. Actually, the whole shipping thing is pretty complicated in Discogs, but I don't really want to talk about that, maybe in a separate video sometime, because it's quite complicated, and at the same time, I'm not sure if it's gonna show lots of interesting stuff, because like things like, so what's the business problem here, right? So I want to send my items to the Netherlands on on some conditions, to the rest of the Europe on some other conditions, to United States for at a completely different shipping conditions, and so on. And for sellers in different countries, of course, this is going to be, and the rest of the world, like it's like a tier 4, right? So basically, every seller is going to have their own preferences here, and it depends on the weight of the item, how many items do we give discount when you buy more than do we have shipping discount when you buy more than one item, and so on and so on. So it's got to be complicated. Um, cool. So I think that we're done here. I have this feeling like I'm missing something, but I don't see what actually. And when I was thinking about this episode, I was also like, I want to show how easy it actually is when you structure it like that, right? But I sort of yeah, I've seen how actually straightforward it is, and now I'm sort of surprised myself. In the next video, we will talk about the buying side of this, and also at some point, maybe in the video after that, I want to talk about the graphical, the diagrams, like sort of ERD, entity relationship diagrams that people sometimes create to understand their database. Uh, Thank you for watching. So as usual, this video is based on the approach from my database design book that you can buy at database-designbook.com. Uh, Thank you. See you on the next video.